Hello parents, I'd like to welcome you to our virtual open house. We've been asked to just throw a quick video together about our class and what your son or daughter could expect, and also what you could expect throughout this year while they're in 7th grade. So I'm going to just share my open house PowerPoint that I would have shared with you had you come to the open house, but here we go. So my name is Mr. Jellison. I've been in Heartland pretty much my whole life. It took a few years to go to school out at Grand Valley State University, but I did graduate from Heartland High School, went to Grand Valley State, actually built log homes for about 5 years after graduation from Grand Valley, and then later on, after a 5-year career in the building industry, I decided to go back to U of M and get my teaching certificate, and have earned my master's degree from Mary Grove University in Detroit. I've been actually in this classroom for 21 years, starting my 22nd year right now here at Orr Creek Middle School. This year teaching science. I've taught environmental science, math, integrated science, and this year life science or biology for your son or daughter. You did get a syllabus, came home. Most of you have signed that syllabus, which is great. That was your child's first assignment. But the syllabus did go over basically all my rules. I only have really one rule. It's just respect. Threw it into an acrostic and basically expect them to be responsible. I want to see them put in effort. They will have to study. They need to come to class prepared, be willing to experiment, not afraid to try new things. They need to care about what they're doing. And we do small group work, so they're in quads of 5, 6, or 4. So often they'll work together with the people at their desk. Things we'll be covering this year, basically 4 main units of study. The first being ecology. After ecology, all of this stuff kind of ties into ecology, and then we go into cells and their cell structures, so eukaryotic, prokaryotic, organization of living things. Then the processes that the cells do take will be all kind of tied into our second unit or second marking period. Then the second half of the year is made up of the last two marking periods. One is heredity and genetics. That'll take a while through all the third marking period, and the last unit of study would be history of life, natural selection, and adaptations. So these are kind of all the small topics, but they do fall into 4 main units. I do have a Weebly page. It's a Weebly website. We used to have teams 7A, 7B, 7C. This is actually an old website, but my page, my tab on that website is up to date. You can click on that at any time. Your son or daughter could click on it at any time. They'd find copies of my handouts. They would find notes. I also have some pre-made Quizlets that they can use to study for getting ready for a final test on the unit. So make sure you do that. I do try to send out reminders on Google Classroom about the tests that are coming up, and I'll usually try to email the parents as well. So when you get that reminder that, hey, there's a test coming up, you may want to make sure your son or daughter start using these tools to prepare for that test. In addition to my Weebly website, I do have a Google Classroom. The Google Classroom is updated daily. I do not grade from the Google Classroom. I know some teachers actually have assignments and then they grade and return the assignments all virtually through Google Classroom. I'm a hands-on kind of guy, so when things are turned in, there'll be a hard copy given to me. I grade them and give them back. So the assignment may be posted, but it's not going to be posted on the assignment tab of my Google Classroom. Everything will be under the stream, and the stream is basically just a daily check-in, and I update that usually during my prep hour, which is around noon. So if your child's sick, absent, on vacation, whatever the reason they're not in school, quarantined, they could check Google Classroom around noon and see what we did in class that day, and then they could do it and bring it with them, the hard copy of what they've done, whenever they get back to school. So when they hit the floor back here in the school building, then they're already caught up. They don't have a lot of missing work or late work they have to worry about, as long as they keep up with the Google Classroom. So there's a link to that. Grading is pretty simple. My assignments, which are the in-class work, the labs, the experiments, and things like that, 20% of the grade. Quizzes, they can retake 1 time. That's also worth 20% of the time, or 20% of the grade. The assessments, they can retake those as many times as they want, the homework and things like that. But then the final test scores, there are no retakes on their test, and those make up 60% of their grade. Homework is usually done here in my class. I firmly believe that they can help one another, and they can also use me as a resource when they get stuck on something, as opposed to going home, not having what they need to find the answer, maybe not having someone they could ask the question to. So it's easier for me to handle that here. Plus, it allows me to see where they're at with the material when I see them doing the homework in my classroom. Grades are done on a 4-point scale, so parents that check Parent Portal, sometimes, and some of your teachers will put a grade in there and it'll show a percentage. Do not look at the percentage, because the percentage will scare you. Like, it'll say a 2. Well, 2 out of 4 is 50%, and all of a sudden you'll think your son or daughter got an E, but a 2 is actually a C on a 4-point scale. So in my rubric that I sent home, and my syllabus that I sent home, it had my grading scale. So those are all in your child's 2-pocket folder. If you ever want to see a breakdown of how the 4-point scale works, it is in that syllabus packet that went home and you guys have signed. Sorry, I went too fast there. Quiz retakes, pretty simple. All your homework has to be done. They make corrections. They build a quick study tool. You sign the study tool, and then they give up their lunch period. They still eat. They'll eat in my room, but they'll retake the quiz with me during lunch. How do I expect kids to be studying? We obviously do a lot of classroom reading in here. We discuss a lot. I share a lot of real-world stuff, Michigan-based sciences with them to bring the vocab to life. We'll have worksheets, we'll do activities, we'll do some textbook assignments, of course. There'll be experiments, some investigations and projects. But we will take notes. They'll make sure they have all the vocabs in their spiral notebook. And then Quizlet sets on Weebly are something they can really use. And obviously they can always create their own study tool, a paper foldable or something like that to help them. We do use honor points. So we're looking at having some type of activity at the end of the year for 7th grade. Not sure what it will be yet, but they need to have at least 1 honor point left. So they start the year with 10. If they get a suspension, they'll lose 5 of those points, and if they get a detention, they lose 2 of those points. So hopefully we don't see any of these 2 things, and they have the points they need to partake in the activity at the end of the year. I just want to mention real quick ways you can get your child involved really early in the school year. Cross country is a great opportunity. There's about 100 kids in that. Archery will start soon in September and October. That's a good program. We do have student council. The yearbook we used to have, I'm not sure if the office still has volunteers helping them with the yearbook or not, but your son or daughter can check with the office if they're interested in doing the yearbook. But student council, the archery program, and cross country kind of get started right out of the gate at the start of the school year, and it's a great way for kids to get to meet new kids and make some friends. And there will be a lot of other opportunities as the year goes on. So my contact information is here. This is my phone number in the classroom. It does not ring during school hours, so if you need to reach me immediately, just use the email provided there at the bottom. My prep hours basically from about 11 to 12:30. I have 4th hour prep, so I eat lunch and then I have an hour to respond to emails and questions. So feel free to contact me at that time. But I do look forward to educating your child this year, and if you have any questions, again, please feel free to reach out. Thank you.